Hello, folks. Good day. How are you? How have you been doing? Are you enjoying your time at home? I hope you get at least 1 hour a day to catch up on your studies, on your reading. Today, I decided to review the last unit we studied last week. I don't know if you remember, but we studied the simple past and some characteristics of the simple past. The simple past is just something that actually it's anything that ended before now. The structure is usually an SVO structure, which means subject, verb, and object. A good example would be, I visited my sister last month. In this structure, there is a subject, in this case, I. Visited is a regular verb in the past. And last month is the adverbial expression that is normally necessary when talking about the past. Visited is a regular verb, but sometimes we need to express ourselves in the past by using irregular verbs. And a common irregular verb would be, I bought a book last week. When you say I bought a book last week, again, we're using the SOV structure, subject, verb, and object. I would be the subject, bought is the verb, the past of to buy. A book would be the object. And last week is an adverbial expression of time, which is normally necessary to be added in a regular sentence in the past. On our 2 days of studies at university, we learned not only to talk about the past, but we learned some words that are usually very necessary when talking about the past. Let's review them. Are you ready? So let's go. Hello again. As I said, there are a few words we need to use when we talk about the past. Let's start with the word born. Actually, it's a verb. It's a verb composed by 2 parts. To be born. The verb be plus the word born. Let me give you one example. Where was John born? John was born in Moscow. So, in this question, I use was because John is the subject, he. And as you may remember, we have to conjugate this verb like this. I was, you were. So where was he born? Where was John born? He was born in Moscow. Another word which is very, very important when talking about the past is the word for. For is a preposition, and for normally precedes a period of time. Another example, I worked in a public school for 5 years. So I'm using for, the preposition for, plus this specific period of time. In this case, 5 years. So before periods of time, we can use the preposition for. It could be for 2 days, for a week, for a month, for a year, And that's the use of for. Now, we are moving to the next word. The next word is long, which we saw in our last unit. Long should be used in negative or in questions. For example, well, I visited Orlando 5 years ago, but I didn't stay there long. When I say I didn't stay there long, long in this case signifies for a long time. The next word is another preposition. It's the preposition in. And in is used when we want to emphasize a specific point in time. We can use a year, for example, in 2016, or we can use a month, in March, in December. So when we talk about the simple past, we can identify a specific point in time by using the preposition in. Another word we saw in our first two lessons was until. And until means before a specific point in time. So I stayed in that little hotel until the weekend. So until is used normally before a specific point in time. And then we have from to. From the beginning of a period to the end of a period. So as an example, yesterday I studied for 2 hours from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock. So my period of study was 2 hours, from 10 to 12. Another word that we can use when talking about the past is the word then. Then normally describes a next event. So I'm saying, I can say, for example, when I visited my parents in Rio de Janeiro, I stayed in their house for 2 days. Then I came back to Belém to work. Then I did something else, you know. So then is used for describing sequences of events. Finally, I would like to introduce to you, actually to review with you, the word ago. Ago tells us how long before the present something happened. Okay, I hope we have had a good review of our first two lessons, and I have one exercise I'm going to send to our WhatsApp group. And please, as soon as possible, I want you to answer those questions and send them back to me so that we can organize things better for our next classes, okay? Thank you. It was great recording this video with you, and I hope we have a good time in this difficult moment of being at home because of this mysterious and invisible enemy, which is the coronavirus. But let's do our best to spend at least 1 hour a day reviewing, studying, and trying to cover at least 30% of what we have to see in a real classroom on a face-to-face conversation. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon. Bye. Take care.